Good afternoon and welcome to today's vlog, Friday the 5th of September. I hope everybody is well. Got quite a bit to cram in today. I'm going to start with tube strike. If you're not in London, you may not be aware that there is a potential tube strike from this Sunday through to next Thursday. The poor old tube drivers on 65,000 a year basic are looking for another 3% pay rise, and they also want to reduce their working week from 35 hours to 32 hours. This one may well go ahead, and if you've not been into London during tube strike, it is horrendous. And it's not just the centre, it's the outside areas as well, because obviously everybody still needs to try and get to school, get to work, excuse me, get about their business. So my recommendations, if you do have to quote on a job coming into London and the tube strike is on, you need to adjust your regular pricing accordingly. It's not for me to tell you what to charge, but I think it may be worth a minimum of trying to stick £50 on each job. And if the customers don't want to pay it, you may be better advised to try and skip London and sort something else out. But leave that with you, and because as always it may get cancelled over the weekend. Right, I'm going to go straight on to today. It's fairly straightforward actually, and I've got a bit to talk about at the end. I won a job yesterday afternoon. There was a job came up on the feed quite quickly when I started looking. 2 collections and 2 deliveries. First collection was in Ipswich for 8:30 this morning. It's a medium van job, and it was a total of 105 miles. There was a second collection in Bury St Edmunds ASAP, and then 2 deliveries, one in Enfield and then finally going on into Bloomsbury, London WC1. I thought that sounded like a decent job. I think that's going to take up a good part of half the day. So I worked out my pricing. The 105 miles, I decided I'm going to go for £1 a mile. I'm going to add on £10 for the extra collection and extra delivery to make that up to 125. And then my normal £20 extra for going into London, 145, and a tenner for the parking, 155, and then add on the congestion charge of £15. So I bid total of 170. It's a ship I do work for, not on a regular basis, but I do probably 2 or 3 jobs a month for them. Essex-based shipper, and I got a call straight away pretty much, and got that job. I think the pricing, excuse me, sorry, the pricing was probably about right, and he knows I do a decent job, so I think that helped as well. And I was pleased with that one. I thought that's going to be a good start, and if I can get that job done by lunchtime, it gives me a chance to see how the rest of the day pans out. So I was on site this morning. 8:30 was the collection time. Got there about 7:45. It was just a pallet to pick up, and I got that pretty much straight away. I've managed to lose all my bit of paperwork that I had my notes written down on. But we went off to Bury St Edmunds. That was just straight down the A14. Collected 2 dozen boxes there. Made my way down the M11, M25, and then down into Enfield. We got the pallet off straight away, literally there 2 minutes, and then made our way into central London. Friday and Mondays are always the better days to head into central London. It wasn't overly too bad, but my 30 years of taxi driving in London might mean that my opinion of how busy London is different to yours. I knew as well, I had an advantage. My delivery point was on a road called Holborn, High Holborn, and I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to deliver in High Holborn itself, and my knowledge etc was lucky, because I knew exactly where I probably had to go around the back, which is a little bit tricky to get into if you don't know it. But yeah, that all paid dividends for me, and I went round the back and brilliantly got these boxes off literally in 2 or 3 minutes, which we had to do because we were blocking the entire road. Anyway, so I was done and empty just by 12 o'clock, I think it was, just after 12 o'clock, which I was really pleased with that. And I was just debating, shall I go to lunch, have a break? I was near a few places where I could quite easily park up and get some food and have a rest. Just had a quick look at the feed. There was over 130 jobs showing on my feed. I thought that was amazing, really. And there was a job come up straight away. First job I looked at was from London South East 18, which is Woolwich. going to Clacton-on-Sea, small van. It just said 1 box. And I'm thinking it's Friday. I've got to do that job. I've got to try and get that job. So it was 76 miles. I put a price of £60 on it. That is cheap, especially as you've got to make your way through, well, not, yeah, I've got to make my way through London, but that's not the client's problem. Got to get to Woolwich, and then you've got to get out of Woolwich. I've got to pay Silvertown Tunnel charge to get there. I've got the Dartford Tunnel charge when I come back. And by the way, Dartford Tunnel went up on Monday. I think it's now £3.60 for a large van, but I need to double check that. So I'm losing a few quid off that, but it was worth doing. I'm away for the weekend. I'm on holiday as well from tonight. So I thought, no, I'm going to do this job if I can, get home and park the van up and finish. So put a price of 60 on, got a phone call straight away. Again, a shipper I've done a few jobs for, not a lot in the past, but they were happy with my ETA for collection. I think, to be honest, it was so busy they were just glad to get a job up to Clacton covered. Made my way across there. It took me 50 minutes to get there, but I still arrived in the time I'd stated to the customer. Picked the box up and I'm on my way, just making my way through Brentwood, trying to avoid the M25 A12 junction, and then I'll pick up the A12 and scoop myself up to Clacton on Sea for about 4:45. I'm 15 minutes from home, so I expect to be home and done by 4:15, and that will be me done for the week. So today, 2 jobs, 170 and 60, making 230. But I do need excuse me, sorry, I do need to take off £15 congestion charge and £5 for the tunnels, so that will take me down to 210. I think the tunnels might actually be £6 now, because I say the Dartford's gone up, but anyway, it's about 210, so I'm happy for that. It's over my target. I'm home Friday. I'm not messing about in traffic, and mileage has been kept to a minimum, really. Dead mileage today will be very, very little, which is good. So that's that. I'm away this weekend. Got a wedding to attend to, which is nice. And also now I'm on holiday. It's going to be my annual 2 weeks holiday. Got some days at home, and then we're away, and then back for a few more days at home. So I won't be back at work, I don't think, till sometime middle end of September. On top of that, I have decided that today is episode 50, and it will be the last video I'm going to do. I was never looking out with this to be any sort of YouTube sensation. This was started because of Tommy Courier Services and his ridiculous claims that if you go and buy yourself a van, make a phone call to your local printer and he'll pay you £400 to deliver 2 boxes 10 minutes up the road. And I never ever wanted anybody to come into this business without doing their research and planning. And I just don't want to see anybody waste any money on buying a van and then being sadly let down. So the plan of this was always just to make you aware realistically what you can earn on the CX, being based in Essex and sort of southeast. For those that have you been doing it, and most of the viewers on here are already up and doing it, it's more of a comparison. You get an idea of your area, your market, what you're earning. Is that about right? Am I too cheap? Am I too expensive? You know, and I've tried to cover as well in those 50 videos topics to do with courier industry, whether it be the van, the insurance, and my thoughts on 1 or 2 bits and pieces. I've thoroughly enjoyed doing these videos. I've really enjoyed doing them, but I really don't see much point in continuing them. As I say, I've spoken about all the different topics, and it's just going to be pretty much repetitive, because you know how I work, you know the areas I now work in, and they're there on YouTube. I'm not going to delete them. They can stay on YouTube as a reference point if they come up for anybody looking for courier videos. But there's plenty of guys on here. Delivery Man does a daily one. Dave Anvil does a great one every week with his mixture of work that he does. Saints Man, obviously. Freddie Fletcher, again, a great video from from James yesterday, about how he looks to dish his work out via the Courier Exchange and what he's looking for. So there's plenty of guys on here that will keep you updated. If you do want to ask me any questions at any time, my YouTube won't ever close, so you can always send me a message. It will come up on the screen that there's a message there for me. If you're on the CX, you know my details. You can always send me a message, email or text via that. thank you to all those that have subscribed. It's very much appreciated. All the likes, the comments, it really is very humbling. I stuck out a little bonus video last night. I was just going through my phone and deleting lots and lots of photos that are absolutely rubbish, and I came across some videos from my time at Arsenal, so I stuck the Bayern Munich one out, which I thought any football fans out there might enjoy, just to see what I used to do. I do miss those days in some ways, but in other ways I like having my weekends back, and as glamorous as it might seem doing Bayern Munich away, I can trust me, it's not when you're getting on a plane at midnight and getting back to London coldly at 3 o'clock in the morning, sorting the dirty laundry out, and you've got to be back at work at 6:30 in the morning, and you're sleeping on a camp bed in your kit room. Trust me, that isn't glamorous. But anyway, that's besides the point. I hope you've all had a good day. I hope you've had a great weekend, and I wish you all the very, very best in your continuation as courier drivers. Take care. Thanks very much. All the best. Cheers. Paul.